Welcome to What's Happening in Miami County. Here's your hosts, Don Smith and Bill Cartwright.
Hello, I'm Don Smith.
And I'm Bill Cartwright.
And here we are at the Miami County Courthouse. And you know one thing I really like, Bill? I like this fountain.
Yes.
And it hasn't always been here. Sometimes it was way over there.
That's true.
They just keep moving it around. But the interesting part about it is the stones. You want to tell them about the stones?
Well, the stones came from the old jailhouse that was built in, what was it, 1854. So, and they took the stones and made it into a beautiful fountain. And it's really, really nice to look at.
If you ever get down here close and up personal with the fountain, look at one thing. They're notched, and that's because they did not use any kind of mortar when they built the jail. The stones fit together kind of like a log cabin does. And I think that's really interesting. But we're here today because we're going to be going inside the courthouse because our friend Wade Westfall, County Commissioner, is going to give us a tour since they have been in the process of remodeling the interior of the courthouse. We all remember when they remodeled the exterior, we saw scaffolding lots and lots of times. So we're going to break now and we're going to go meet Wade in the lobby of the
remember,
courthouse.
This is September 25th, and we're here, and you can see us on Channel 5 at 6 o'clock, and also on YouTube. So, and our shows are every second and fourth Wednesdays.
Yep, every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we get to know that. So mark them down.
Yep.
Watch us and see what's happening.
All right.
And make sure you let us know what we need to do different.
All right.
You ready to go?
Yep, we're ready to go.
Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
Yep, here we're going to go in now. It'll be fun.
See what's going on. I'm excited.
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right. Hi. Oh, okay.
Thank you very much. It's great to know somebody because when you know somebody, you can kind of bypass security. But security is an important part of this process.
There you go. Well, there you go.
Now we're in trouble. Okay, we are here with Wade Westfall, County Commissioner. Wade, good to see you.
Welcome to the courtroom of Miami County.
Yes.
You're on the first floor of the Miami County courtroom. As you can see, we're in the process of doing some renovation, focusing on the first floor this year and the grand courtroom. This we're kind of a lull right now. We're kind of at a standstill, primarily because we've got an election to pull off here in approximately 2 weeks from tomorrow, starting early voting. And it's going to be a big one.
It is,
election.
I wondered when the voting starts. Right in this room, 2 weeks from tomorrow?
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh, good to know that.
October 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
So when did the renovations start?
The renovation started approximately 4 months ago, 3 to 4 months ago.
Okay.
Of course, there's a long bid process.
Sure.
And all that we did back in October or at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And what we decided to end up, what the final budget would be. But our main plan here, if you notice, this was really never meant to be the main entrance of the courtroom. There's a reason why the steps are on the outside going to the second floor. You'll see the difference when you go up to the second and third floor. So we wanted to bring a little bit more of a cleaner look here. If you've noticed when you walked in, a lot of the deterioration on the side of the walls, that's all being addressed. And if you notice the different bulkheads we put in, the new ceiling, how much larger it is there compared to what we have here. So what we're going to do at the end of the election on the 11th, we will then take on this section. This will be completely redone. There'll be a new security booth put in, and all the bulkheads and everything will be removed and replaced like you see.
Like those. Oh, that'll look so much nicer.
I actually have a nice little rendering here of what the flooring and everything will look like.
Oh, nice.
Oh, quite a bit of difference.
Big difference.
Yeah, that's going to look
Smooth
nice.
and clean and tidy.
So when you walk in here, it'll look impressive.
Yeah, really. Now, is there any projection of when it might be done?
Yes, the first floor will be done by the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
So approximately 45 to 60 days after the election's over, we'll get back. Once what this is accomplished, then we're moving up into the grand courtroom.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to be completely restoring that. So, and that's where I've got us. If you want to go upstairs,
all right. Sure.
That's where I can.
Okay.
Up there.
Well, let's go.
Sounds good.
Well, now we're on the second floor. We just came up in the elevator, which was, by the way, fairly friendly because there was a crowd. Four people make a crowd.
This building was built back in 1885, and they never put an elevator in it because they couldn't afford it.
Right.
But they were smart enough to put the elevator shaft in because, of course, back in 1885 we didn't have the federal laws that pertain to handicap accessibility. But you can see the difference of the grandeur of this room versus the first floor.
Yes.
And, look at the floor, the work in the floor. It amazes me, all the intricate patterns and so forth. And back in the day when this was done, it was all hand-laid.
Absolutely.
Somebody had it in their mind and they were able to put that
each
together.
one of those individual tiles. Our goal for the second and third floor hallways, you can come on through.
You get to be on TV.
Our second and third floor hallways will be done in 2025 once we get the grand courtroom done. That is the second phase of the grand courtroom and the windows. We're going to be replacing 110 windows in the building. Just for information purposes, not an active functioning window in the entire building.
So do you worry about security in the windows now? I'm dealing with some school issues where they're worried about shooters being able to shoot through glass and all that. Is that something that the courthouse worries about, or is that just not anything in your purview?
Whenever you have a public facility in this day and age, unfortunately, we have to address these issues now.
Yep.
Back when we were kids, not so much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to address these kind of issues. Yes, security, the accessibility of the building. That's why we have security. There's over 60,000 people that go through this building here alone every year. Between the two buildings, we're over 125,000 people that visit on an annual basis in these two buildings here located in downtown Troy.
Okay. So the glass would be different, or is it still the same kind of glass?
I'm hoping it's still the same, but it's going to be
thicker,
more tempered, and thicker. Of course, to bulletproof and/or a building so tall, the bulletproof or anything like that would be the cost factor.
Would be prohibitive.
Yeah. Okay. It's good to know.
This will be coming in, and we'll be refreshing all the painting. Some of the paint will change. Some of the detail work, of course, none of the detail work will, but we'll be redoing the floors, we'll be redoing the walls too. The approximate, then we can get more detail upstairs, but the approximate budget for the entire interior restoration is approximately $4 million.
Okay.
And you've got the contractors in line to do all these things?
Contractors are in line. We will go back out to bid. We bid the whole project this year. We decided to do one section, approximately $2 million. That's the first floor in the grand courtroom. And we're doing everything we can to use local. One of the lead company is Bryan Brothers in Pickle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they've got such a great reputation of being able to do. Not everybody can come in here and paint this due to the height, due to the detail work, and having that skill set that was something that was done back in 1885.
All right.
So let's walk upstairs and check out the grand courtroom.
All right. Sounds great.
Let's do it. Okay. Now we're on the third floor.
All right, now you're on the third floor. This houses our judge's office. Mr. Huffman is on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is our new municipal court judge, Tony Kendall. Of course, we have administrative offices, the bailiff's office. But this is the grand courtroom area, the third floor. You can see the rotunda here. Detail work.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Absolutely magnificent.
Oh, it is. This is gorgeous.
We pride ourselves. I mean, when you come down here on a Friday or Saturday night, and this last weekend was homecoming for West Milton. This courthouse was packed with kids getting their photos taken. We have the capability of turning the courthouse in just about any color we want to. You'll see on certain holidays, for July 4th, we'll have a red, white, and blue. For various other occasions, we'll have it colored. We're able to change those colors by pushing a couple buttons.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah.
So these faces are really interesting. And I assume they all have some historic significance.
Yes, these are indigenous people. I actually have,
All of them?
yes.
Because obviously they appear, I mean, they're definitely Indians,
Right.
but some of them it's hard to recognize. It's interesting.
You need the double doors
I
open.
got it open. Yeah,
So that one should
perfect.
But if you need the other ones, let me know.
Let's see here.
There's artwork on the walls.
The third floor rotunda, life-size heads of races of man.
Oh,
So
okay.
these are the races of,
Oh, okay.
but as I said before, the building was built between 1885 and 1888. It's a typical 19th century Corinthian style. It's actually styled after, very similar to our U.S. Capitol. The architect on it was a Joseph W. Yost. And he did a number of courthouses throughout the state of Ohio, throughout the
Did
region.
he also do the plaza at Piqua?
I do believe he was the architect of the Plaza at Piqua.
Yeah, the hotel.
Now in 1807, let's walk in here and gentlemen, Miami County was much larger back in 1807. Its boundaries actually extended over into Darke County, up and even to Shelby County. Present-day boundaries that we now know of Miami County was about 1819, when Shelby County and Darke County formed their counties. Of course, we've always heard, being Piqua people, we've always heard the courthouse wars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was true. This is actually the 6th location of a courthouse in Miami County. The most recent one, prior to this one, was the one that they've just recently had some drama on over across the street, and a historical group came together and was able to stabilize that building. And it sounds to me like they've done a nice job on that. So, as I said, back in 1811, there was a lot of fighting between Piqua and Troy, because Piqua was about 6,000 people versus 2,000 people. So versus Troy was only 2,000. So it was almost 3 times bigger. And Troy won. And there's always been various reasons for that. But basically the Ohio legislation back in 1885 came to both locations, and they made the final decision to locate it here in Troy, Ohio.
I had heard that it was because of Troy was more centrally located in the county.
I had heard that Hainer Whiskey had a little bit to play. They had just a little bit to play in it also.
They had a party just before the decision was made.
But there's been some major restoration done on the courthouse. Of course, something was built, back in 1885. And in 1982, there was a major restoration done. And then again in 1998. In 2020, we did the plaza. Now, we had to do the plaza for a number of reasons. One of the big reasons is over across the street is the facility that used to provide all the heating and cooling for this building, and it was all done by tunnels that went underground and would circumference and wrap completely around the old courthouse. Those tunnels, of course, collapsed and were deteriorated, and that's the reason why they made the decision to to the Courthouse Plaza, which I believe we have the most beautiful courthouse plaza in the nation.
It's really attractive out there. I like the fountains. I like everything about it. And, you know, coming into this building is not in my common travels. I don't come in here under normal conditions. I've been in here 3 or 4 times. But I really appreciate the historic significance of the building, and I'm really pleased that the County Commission, you all have taken on the challenge of keeping it as nice as it is now and even nicer in our near future. So that's really a plus that we have people who care enough to do things like that.
And this is, for me, it's a great privilege to be able to be the lead on this project, because I've had for my own personal business and career, I've had the privilege of going out and purchasing multiple properties, and especially a number of downtown properties, both in Piqua and Troy, and to bring new life to those buildings has been an absolute pleasure for my wife and I to be able to get accomplished, because they have so much value and so much history involved in our community. And yeah, they're inefficient sometimes, but with the new heating and cooling systems they now have, it makes them more efficient. When you stay up on the maintenance and the upkeep of these buildings, it's critical. And in some years, because of economics, the county wasn't able to do that.
You say it takes money.
It takes money. And fortunately, your county is extremely fiscally strong.
Sure.
We've got one of the lowest tax bases in a 7-county contiguous area. Our parks, recreation, school systems, everything you possibly imagine. I don't think you could live in a better county than Miami County.
Great place to live.
It sure is.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about this room. This is not even started yet, the renovations. So tell me, is it going to stay the same and just be refreshed, or are you changing light fixtures? What are you doing in here to actually bring it up?
Yes, yes, and yes. It is going to be completely restored. If you notice up in the corners, and especially in that area, you see all the deterioration. The colors are going to be changed. We are now working on those. We will be setting up a section over there in that corner, scaffolding, and we'll be painting an entire section for everybody to agree upon the colors. All the woodwork will be restored. All the flooring is going to be restored. So
when you say colors, are you dealing with the original colors or trying to bring the original colors back, or are you just coming up with something that will be totally attractive to the building?
We are going to try to maintain the historical character as much as possible, but also keep in mind that it's 2024, 2025, and bringing those colors up into more of a pleasing area, more of a pleasing.
Do you know what the original colors were? Have any idea?
They're going to be probably doing some peel backs and see, but some of the colors back in 1885 you really don't want. Some of the horrible, not good at all. But the people that we have working on it, the architects and the Bryan brothers from Piqua are real professionals, and it's going to be beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. As you know, already is. It just needs to be taken care of.
Now these chairs are amazing too. When I was in here for a special event, I noticed the chairs because they have all the pattern in the back of the actual chairs that are attached to the floor, the gallery, I guess that is. It's amazing to me, and to see those being maintained and taken care of is really a good thing.
Gallery chairs are going to change. We're going to maintain a couple reasons. One is ADA is the big reason, and we're limited on the seating capability of these particular chairs, and we have a very difficult time once one of these chairs are broken is being able to restore them. They are not the original chairs of the building. We think they may have came out of one of the theaters from downtown.
They might have been benches originally.
We're going to probably lean more towards going to a church pew bench that will replicate. In fact, Stahls is actually here to to make sure they're tying all of the woodwork in. They actually built that dais there. That's the original one, but they built that a number of years ago, and if I didn't tell you, you would never known it wasn't original.
Yeah, really.
So what's going to happen with these chairs?
These chairs, there will be a section here on this back wall here to let you know, and we will keep 1 or 2 sections for repair of the ones that we're keeping, and then the rest of them we hope, you know, maybe there will be an opportunity to auction them off or and allow people to have the opportunity to put them to other use.
Okay, well that sounds interesting. So now, what are the most impressive things that have occurred in this room over its history?
Good question. I know the courthouse across the street had a tremendous history based upon the emancipation of the Randolph free slaves. Here, good question. I don't, being a municipal court, probably not as much drama as we would see over into the common pleas court. I'll have to do some diving in on that.
It's interesting because I know in Pickle we had a murder situation, and the son killed the father, and I think that was adjudicated in
the municipal
in the court down here. I'm not sure. I did some research on it. I know about some of it, but I don't know where they held the trial.
Well, you take us from 1888 to 2024. We've seen a lot of drama. A lot of life has been exposed in this courtroom. I've sat in this courtroom many a time as a landlord trying to get my property back. So yeah, it's a very, very, very busy court with the municipal actions that they have in the county. Like I said, most of our, what you would call the big dramas we have now would be, of course, in the common pleas court. And we're fortunate in Miami County, you don't really see that much of deterioration of the human being that's here. We have a lot of things people don't realize, especially when it comes down to our children's services and those programs. But we do a pretty good job.
Well, that's good. So we really won't see a whole lot of difference other than colors and different seating.
Different seating, flooring, just the all-new lighting. We will make it as technology as advanced as possible. When you're dealing with these old buildings and the floors, it's hard to run cables and things like that. And we're taking that all in consideration. Where the signage, we're going to maintain and restore all the signage that you now presently see throughout the building that falls into that era of the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. But this
rotunda is amazing right here too.
That got hit by the tornado. It got popped up. That had to be restored when the tornado hit us 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Going on our 5th year. Yeah.
We really did.
We just completely redid all the ventilation system for this through some of the ARPA dollars that we were able to receive. We were able to do a lot of capital improvement projects, and one being replacing the heating and cooling system for this building. And that's a heck of an undertaking because it's all upstairs in that attic. In fact, if you want, if you can handle some steps, I can get you up on top of the dome if you want to go take a look at that.
Well, I think maybe that might be interesting. We can get AJ to go up there with the camera.
We can make that happen.
But, you know, it's just, people, I don't think in general realize the cost to maintain history. I live in a house that was built in 1843, and it's much more expensive to maintain that home than if I had built one 5 years ago. There's just a big difference, and when you have care of something like this, it's important in my mind to keep it as it was, so to speak. I mean, you got to bring it up to date to some extent, but we're talking about remodeling a kitchen, and I can't come up with a design that I think looks right in a kitchen that was built in 1843 to make it look good today and be efficient. Takes a lot of research to find those things, and so to do that here, that's multiply that times 20 times what I have to deal with.
But the craftsmanship of when your home was built, the craftsmanship of when this was built, I don't know if you could build this building today and not have to spend $1 billion doing it, because the craftsmanship was totally different back in.
I'm positive you could, but I'm positive you couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford it.
I mean, you know, you look at the cathedral, Notre Dame.
Right.
They're
Did a
doing
beautiful
it.
job on that.
And they're doing it, but I can only imagine what those final costs are going to be to get that restored back to its original intent, which is what you're trying to do right here in this smaller building, and I think that's really great.
And it's what I've always tried to remind people, this is an active governmental building. It's not a museum. Even though it has a tremendous amount of history, even though it has, I believe, the core and the foundation of who we are as a county is all right here. I think our number one iconic place in Miami County is this spot. Then you would go to like Fort Piqua Hotel. Then you would go to a couple other very substantial buildings that have been around. That's the backbone of the bank I restored on Market Street is one of the backbones of what started all of Miami County financially. So they do play a critical role, but when you take a building that's got 30-some foot ceilings, when now you're lucky to have a home that's got 10-foot ceilings, you take a building that's got 30 or 40 or 50-foot ceilings, and it was designed based upon the fact back in the day, they didn't care about a utility bill. It was nothing to heater. There was no such thing as air conditioning.
You just put a coat on.
Exactly, you put a coat on. And, you know, what do you do with them now in let's take, for example, some of the banks we have in downtown Piqua. How do you repurpose those or restore them when now you can do all your banking online on your phone, or it doesn't have a drive-through, these banks at downtown. So you've got to have some developers, some people that have some vision and some imagination to say, okay, this is what we can do with this.
Because this is what really brings people into our county, to see these historic facilities. And when we all work together in the county to promote these locations, you're going to find people who are history buffs who want to see what has been preserved. And so, you know, we have the Johnson Farm, we have the Plaza in Piqua, we have the courthouse here, we have a myriad of other buildings that I could mention that are all pretty impressive, and to have us saving them is a really good thing, and I'm really excited that you have taken the gauntlet to fix this up and make it.
This is probably the number one reason I wanted to be on the board. To have the opportunity to work on this has been, it's the pinnacle of my life, being involved in this arena for over 45 years, because I could not agree with you more that this plays such a critical role, because once you lose this, you can never replace it, and you lose that capability of telling that story to the next generation.
And, you know, I've been very fortunate in my life, and we've done some traveling. And I was in a place in France, and the street has not changed in 200-300 years. Yeah. It's the same buildings, the same fronts, but, you know, they tear down the entire building except for the front, and then they rebuild behind it, but the streets remain the same. And it's just something completely different. We Americans have a tendency, oh, that one's old, let's get rid of it, get a new one, build a new one.
We've only been around for 250 years.
Everything we got is baby.
Everything over in Europe. My wife just got back there, and she said it just was amazing. Stuff that had been sitting there for thousands of years are still usable. Still usable.
I dealt with that with schools. I was in another country where the school had been built 300 years ago, and they were still using it, had internet and everything involved, and it was doing perfectly fine, and yet we tear our buildings down and build new ones.
And it'll be interesting to see if they're around for 90 to 100 years, or I don't know if they will be. So.
Well, thank you very much for this part. Now, where can we go next?
Well, we can, if you want to go up on top of the courthouse dome, I think I might be able to make that happen.
Let's do that.
All right. Here, let's do this.
Does the bell work?
Yes,
So
it will ring.
At 8, noon, and 4 p.m.
It'll ring. There's. Now you're in the dome. You're above the roof line. Now we're going to take you up a little bit further. You can see up there, and we're going to get you out on the rotunda area.
Look at that. Usually have to pay extra
Clock
for these
works.
tickets.
Yes, sir.
There's the clock. And the wood ladder. You don't see that too often either anymore. I may have to live up here for 6 weeks.
Welcome to the highest point in Miami County.
Oh, wow. What a view.
Don't drop your camera.
What a beautiful view.
Oh my. This is as good as going in a hot air balloon.
And you're more welcome just to kind of walk around.
I could be a lighthouse in the fog, trying my best to guide you back to us. I know you're going through a lot right now. I know your life is upside down. All your problems, put them on me. All your problems.
So we're actually above the grand courtroom right now, and this whole pulley system apparently would lift and lower the chandelier below.
Oh, yeah. Change the lights.
You know what? That's exactly how Piqua High School, the old high school building, all the lights in the auditorium could be dropped down to work on them. You've probably never seen it. It's a beautiful theater that's now destroyed, but the lighting was all on pulleys that you could drop it down, work on it, and bring it back up. Well, we have had one really good time, and I am so pleased to have been able to get clear up to the dome and to see the views out there. I hope AJ got some great views because it's really, really attractive.
It's absolutely
Wade,
beautiful up
thank you
there.
so much for having us and hosting us today.
On behalf of my fellow commissioners, Mr. Simmons and Mr. Mercer, myself, welcome to your Miami County Courthouse.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, I'll tell you what, that was a wonderful tour, and I'll tell you what, this is one beautiful Capitol building. It really is, and I really appreciate Wade taking us through the building and taking us all the way up to the top. That was amazing.
Well, we didn't actually get to the statue because I looked up and saw the steps, and I think we had gone far enough.
Well,
It was a beautiful
you
view.
should have tried it, Don. You should have tried it.
Well, yeah, I would have tried it. Then you'd have tried to get an emergency squad up there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was good that we did what we did.
Right,
So,
that's true.
Anyway, so what's going on these days?
So, one thing that we did, you and I both did, we went to APAC and saw Britbeat.
Oh yes. I was twisting the night away.
Yeah, you actually, I tried to get you to twist more, but you know.
A little twist is good.
Yeah. Anyway, it
I
was
didn't
a
want to
lot
throw
of
my
fun.
hip out.
It was a tribute to the Beatles and all that, and it was a lot of fun. It really was.
The electronics in that were amazing.
Was amazing.
I was
yeah, the
really
videos
impressed.
were unbelievable. So I do have some events, and I'm going to go through some of these fairly quickly. And the first one is we're talking about Tipp City Mum Festival. That's September 28th and 29th at Tipp City Community Park. It's, I don't know if you've ever been to the Mum Festival before, but it's they have antique and show car cruise-in packs and history, downtown area with hundreds of quality and unique vehicles. And on Saturday morning, a parade still draws spectators near and far with bands and floats and all that, and clowns and entertainment. So, and that's it's a 2 days. The city park turns into a festival grounds with something for everyone. So that'll be a lot of fun, and also
I bet they have mums there too.
they do have mums there, and they also have, right here, Run for the Mums, a 5K run. That's on September 28th. And it's the city park, and Run for the Mums is sponsored by Tip Monroe Community Services in conjunction with the Tip City Mum Festival. The race will be held rain or shine, so if it's raining, you still got to go. So anyway, that'll be a lot of fun if you're into running. Don, I know you'll be there with bells on.
Yeah, either that or in bed.
Yeah, okay, anyway. Also, I mentioned this the other show, but the Quad State Southern Ohio Forge and Anvil competition will be at Miami County Fairgrounds, and that's September 27th and 29th. That's this coming weekend. There again, it's a big deal for forges and all that. The Southern Ohio Forge and Anvil Association, in affiliation with the ABANA, which I'm not sure what that stands for, but it's a nonprofit organization, and this brings people in from all over the country for this event. So you should go and see how they used to do things. I mean, it amazes me how they take a piece of metal and then they make a cooking utensil, or they make a knife, or they make all kinds of things out of the metal. And it just starts out as a big hunk. So it's that should be a lot of fun to go to and see the art of blacksmithing.
Well, you know, we went to that over at Fort Rowdy Plaza. We watched the gentleman over there do some work with the anvil and blacksmithing, and it really is an interesting thing. And we have a program coming up where we're going to visit an actual blacksmith shop. Yep. You'll be on vacation, but we'll be doing it anyway.
But yeah. Okay. Well, then also there's beginners. And this is ties in with another episode we're going to have. It's the beginners hearth cooking class at Johnson Farm. So, and I know we're going to be cooking at an old fireplace, farmhouse fireplace, and this is the one at Johnson Farm, and this will be the 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it's lets you know exactly how they used to cook back then. For more information, you need to go to their website to let them know, because there is a cost to this, and no refunds due to cost of food and supplies. So the cost is $45, but it should be a lot of fun to learn how they
and take young people, because they only know microwave.
Yep.
And if you can get them to see one of these old-fashioned real kitchens where people really cooked, it's really...
Or even how they cooked over an open fire. Yep. I mean, it's amazing what they can do. And then we have the Pickwick Caldwell Historic District. This one's dear to your heart.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Haunted Walking Tour. That's October 18th and 19th. And for more information, you need to go to their website.
Pickwick Caldwell Historic District.com. And if you go to the website, you need to order tickets online. It's the only way we can do it, because they have it every half hour. There's a group that will be leaving the starting location, and the tour takes about an hour.
Right.
And you get to actually go through one home, and you'll actually see some of the apparitions that were found in that home, as well as talk about some in the other homes they'll be going past.
Yes, they have great tour guides.
Yes,
really
they do. Yep. I'm not one of them, but they're good.
But we happen to know some of them.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So anyway, that should be a lot of fun.
And we got to understand, it's not a haunted tour where you're scared and they send out
no, it's not that.
characters. This is the true stories that have occurred inside the historic homes that they'll be walking by.
Right. So, and that'll That should be fun to do. And then for the last one I have is it's called Free Friendsgiving Dinner. And this is put on by Fields of Grace Worship Center in conjunction with the Covington Eagles. And they provide a free lunch on Saturday, November 9th, beginning at 11:30 a.m. until all meals are gone. Usually this year we're expecting about 1,000 meals. And what you can do is the meals will consist of this is going to make me hungry, but smoked shredded pork sandwich, cheesy potatoes, green beans, applesauce, and chocolate chip cookie. And the meals will be distributed from Covington Elementary School, located at 807 Chestnut Street. And you can approach the school from Chestnut Street. Then there'll be people to direct you where to go. But also you can call Fields of Grace at 937-573-4282 to receive a home delivery. They will be delivering to homes. You can sign up begins October 1st, and the last day to sign up is October 31st. And like I say, the meal itself is on November 9th. So they've done this in years past, and it's been amazing. It really has.
Well, the interesting thing about this one is that you are involved over there with that one.
Absolutely.
And those of you who want to meet Bill up close and personal could go over there and get a free meal and say hi. So you'll be somewhere in that group doing something. So,
there you go.
And I'll be somewhere in the group with the haunted tour too. So we're all
that's
good.
Right. So anyway, so that's all the events I have right now. But if you want, there's so many events that goes on that I can't cover them all. So the best thing to do is for more information, you go to homegrowngreat.com events. That's Miami County site, and that'll give you a whole array of different events that are taking place in Miami County.
Well, are you ready for birthdays?
Sure.
This is going to be a little different, because I was able to find a bunch of people that were born on this day, and so I'm going to name them.
Okay.
And you tell me what they have in common.
All right.
David Muir, Diane Sawyer, Chris Como, Barb Walters, Elizabeth Vargas, Hugh Downs, and Sam Donaldson.
They're all news commentators.
Yep, and they were all born on this day. And they were all, so the question is not how old they are, because that would take us all afternoon. Yeah. But the truth is, which of the 7 have taken the big trip? In other words, which of the 7 have passed away?
Diane Walters.
This is the dynamic 7. Who'd you say?
Diane Walters?
Barbara
Walters,
yeah,
I mean?
Barbara Walters has passed away,
yeah,
yes.
That's what I thought.
She's one of them. And there's one more in that group. David Muir, Diane Sawyer, Chris Como, Elizabeth Vargas, Hugh Downs, and Sam Donaldson.
Hugh Downs.
Hugh Downs is the other one.
Yeah.
You did good. By the way, he came from Ohio, you know.
Yes.
Hugh Downs was an Ohio native, so that was good. Which of the
It's too bad
7?
we don't have the bell.
I know.
Have
Well,
to ring it.
I could have brought it anyhow, because you're going to mess up the next one.
I probably will.
No, I don't know that. But which of the 7 is the youngest? Barb Walters, we know she's passed away.
Yeah.
David Muir, Diane Sawyer, Chris Como, Elizabeth Vargas, and Sam Donaldson.
Sam Donaldson?
Oh, he's not the youngest.
No.
He's the oldest.
David Muir? I'm
David Muir is the youngest.
Oh, okay.
David Muir is the youngest, and Sam Donaldson is 90.
Oh,
So he's not the youngest.
Yeah.
And you know, I watch Elizabeth Vargas all the time. She's on the Chicago station, and she's 62. And Hugh Downs would be 103 if he was still walking. And Barbara Walters would be 95 if she was still walking. So anyway, there's one last question for this group. Which of the 7 do you prefer to watch? Do you watch any of them?
maybe Sam Donaldson. I don't know.
He's 90 years old and retired. You're not watching him.
Well, I know, but there's none of those that I like to watch.
Really?
Yeah.
So who do you like to watch?
Usually I watch Fox.
Oh, well,
News.
that tells us something, doesn't it?
That does.
Okay, so anyway, well, in that group, I kind of like Chris Como. because he's pretty argumentative and he pretty much goes on all sides of the issue, and we're doing pretty good with him. So anyway, that's all personal preference. Everybody out there's got their own preference of who they like to watch.
Absolutely.
But we generally watch Channel 17 only because it's a non-biased station in my mind. So
Just watch Channel 5.
well, Channel 5, yeah, but it's all sports, and sometimes we got to watch old.
Sports right now.
No, I know we got the old people involved. So anyway, it's all good. So have you got anything else you would like to say?
No, I don't think so. I think it's time to wrap it up.
Oh my, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, just remember that our next show is October 9th, and it's on Channel 5 at 6 o'clock or on YouTube. And just put in What's Happening Miami County video, and it'll come up on YouTube.
And all the others. So if you want to binge watch us from last April through now, you can do it.
And one other quick thing is that if you have any information that you'd like us to get out to the public, please contact us at ajganger.org.
Ganger A, I pick it up.
Ganger A, I'm sorry. Ganger A at
Pickwood.org.
Pickwood.org.
It'll be on the screen.
Put that on
It'll
the
be
screen.
on the screen.
But the
It
real,
will be on the
but the
screen.
real truth is, we were talking on the way to the courthouse here about things we do on the program, and we're wondering, do people really care about them? Do you want to see us do birthdays? Do you want to see us do trivia? And do you like it when we go out in the public air and look around and see other things and the cooking shows and all that?
Yeah, we
So
need your feedback.
We
need
really
your
do.
feedback.
And we're not hearing from anybody. So I begin to think it's just AJ that's watching us. But let me know, and we'll see what's doing. But until next time, I'm Don Smith.
I'm Bill Cartwright.
And what's happening in Miami County?